Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Test 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Test 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Test 1 2. Good news is I'm not hearing a buzz. And good afternoon and welcome inside Nobby's Ballpark in Cleveland, Ohio for today's UAA matchup in the opening game, or home opener, I should say, for the Spartans this season is Case Western Reserve University. We'll be taking on Emory University, a battle of 3-1 teams in the UAA, two teams that are currently tied for second in the UAA, entering the day half a game behind Chicago, which went 4-0 against Brandeis in the opening weekend. The Spartans taking 3 of 4 from Wash U. Emory taking 3 of 4 from NYU last weekend, and this will set up a big series this weekend between the two teams. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Schwartz, bringing you play-by-play coverage of today's game between the Spartans and the Eagles. And on the mound today for the Spartans will be Tyler Stilson, who will make his third start of the year. We'll tell you more about Stilson in just a sec, but before we get going here, let's go ahead and give you the batting order for the 17-7 Emory University Eagles. Jake Lawson, the center fielder, a lefty leading things off. Another lefty, Aiden Conley, who's having an excellent season, playing third and batting second. Matthew Sicoli, the right fielder, in the 3 spot. And then first baseman Jack Halloran will bat cleanup. Blake Dinchman, the catcher today, hitting 5th. Zach Wasserloff, the left fielder, in the 6th spot. Mitchell Smallwood, the designated hitter today, he'll bat 7th. Brock Liu playing second base and hitting 8th, and then Zach Hansen, the shortstop, bats 9th. Josh Zuckerman, the righty, on the hill today. We'll tell you more about him in the bottom of the inning when he takes the hill. For Case Western Reserve University, defensively today at first base will be Dane Camphausen. Second baseman is Franco Alonso. The shortstop is Nate Arterburn, and third is Zach Carinci. In the outfield, Logan Andraco, and left center fielder is Jack Anderson, and in right field is Nick Harms. Doing the catching today is Sean Donahue, and on the mound is Tyler Stilson, who will be making his 4th start of the year, and it's been mostly good for Tyler. Tyler 1-0 with a 3.60 ERA through his 3 starts. He's thrown 15 innings, allowed just 15 hits for a 246 average. He has struck out 12 and walked 3. And Stilson, the sophomore, who will also get plenty of play in the infield this weekend for the Spartans and at the plate. It will be Stilson who takes the hill here for the Spartans. He'll start things off against Jake Lawson, the lefty. Lawson has started 20 games for Emory, batting .385 with 14 runs batted in. No home runs, but he has 7 doubles and a triple, an on-base percentage, and a slugging percentage of .500. Solid numbers for Lawson, the center fielder, who takes the first pitch change down and in for a ball, and it's 1-0. Emory making the trip up from Atlanta for this UAA series. They flew in yesterday. That one bunted nicely down the third baseline, but foul. And the count evens 1-1. Well, it seems like it was fairly recently that Stilson made a start down in South Carolina for the Spartans. And Stilson was not necessarily penciled in to be in the Spartans starting rotation this year, but after serving as a starter for the team last year, has really become the team's top option. Swing and a miss, 1-2. 86-mile-an-hour pitch there, thanks to TrackMan. How awesome is that? That is some very cool data. Now the 1-2 offering from Stilson. And that one swung on, grounded to the second baseman, Alonso, who scoops and throws over to Dane Camphausen at first for the first out of the inning. Good to see Dane back out there after he missed some time due to an injury, but played all last weekend against Wash U. He's back out in the field as well and looks to be in fine shape out there. So I'll bring Aiden Conley to the plate. Conley having a fantastic year. 421 hitters, 7 home runs, 33 runs batted in. He's been one of the better hitters in the UAA this season, along with Nick Harms for the Spartans, as that one is taken down low for a ball, 1-0. Conley, the third baseman, a sophomore out of Nashville, Tennessee, Montgomery Bell Academy. Swing and a miss there. Montgomery Bell, the same high school that produced R.A. Dickey, the knuckleballer in the majors, former Major League knuckleballer. 1-1 on the way to Conley. In the air, left field, and Draco takes a few steps back, now settles in, battles the sun, and makes the catch for the second out. So 2 quickly retired on 7 pitches, 5 of which have been strikes for Stilson, and now he'll face the 3-hitter, Matthew Sicoli, for Emory. Sicoli, the right fielder, started all 24 games this year for Emory. He's hitting at .393 with 2 home runs and 29 runs batted in. He'll be the first right-handed hitter that Stilson sees today. Last one was hit hard, 89 miles an hour off the bat from Conley, but just hit it right to and Draco. It's the first pitch fastball in their first strike, 86 off the hand from Stilson. This is awesome. I really like the TrackMan stuff. That is very cool. Breaking pitch hit into right field. Harms there, makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning for Tyler Stilson, who is very efficient in the first, and we'll move to the bottom of the inning in a scoreless ball game. So the Spartans will try to strike first here in what is a huge weekend series if you're the Spartans. We'll talk more about that as it goes on, but let's go ahead and tell you the lineup for Case Western Reserve as we head to the bottom of the first. Leading things off is Jack Anderson, the center fielder, 4 home runs and 17 runs batted in for Jack this year. He's hitting at .352. Nick Harms, the big bat in the Spartans lineup, bats second and plays right field. Tyler Stilson pitching and hitting third. And then Franco Alonso, the second baseman, is in the cleanup spot. Dan Camphausen playing first base today. He'll bat fifth. Sean Donahue catching and batting sixth. It'll be Logan Andraco, the left fielder, in the 7th spot. Zach Carinci, he had a nice weekend at WashU last week. He'll be hitting 8th and playing third. And then Nate Arterburn, the shortstop, rounds things out. Defensively for Emory, first baseman is Jack Halloran. The second baseman is Brock Liu. The shortstop will be Zach Hansen, and over at third base is Aiden Conley. In the outfield, left fielder is Zach Wasserloff. The center fielder is Jake Lawson. Right fielder is Matthew Sicoli. Doing the catching is Blake Dinchman. And on the mound is Josh Zuckerman, the right-handed pitcher. 3-1 on the year with a 4.11 ERA. He's made 7 appearances, all of which have been starts, throwing 35 innings. He's allowed 26 hits. Opponents hitting just 198 against him. He has struck out 38 and walked 28 in 35 innings of work. So it'll be interesting to see if he can maintain control today. Zuckerman, a junior out of Boyds, Maryland, Northwest High School. He'll finish up his warm-ups here. So Zuckerman trying to get things off to a nice start here. Last weekend, went 5 2/3 against NYU. He allowed 5 runs, all of them earned, walked 6 in that game. Did strike out 5, allowed 6 hits as well, so NYU touched him up a bit. It was an offensive weekend all around the conference last weekend, so nothing new there. Jack Anderson set to lead things off here for the Spartans, who last year against Zuckerman scored 5 runs in 4 innings against him. Anderson squares to bunt, bunts it back towards the pitcher Zuckerman, who has to barehand throw off his back foot, and he gets it there. So Jack Anderson trying to surprise the Emory infield with a bunt. The pitch was up and in, and he 93 miles an hour there, I believe. And I think it took Jack a little bit by surprise. He didn't get great wood on that, but it almost worked his favor where he pushed the ball far enough into that hole that he almost was able to reach, but it took a really nice play from Zuckerman, who got the ball there in time for the first out of the inning. So that'll bring up Nick Harms to the plate, and Harms as hot as anybody right now. He's hitting at .424 in the year, 7 home runs, 30 runs batted in. He also leads the team with 9 stolen bases and takes the curveball there at 77 miles an hour for a called strike, 0-1. There's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, called strike, 0-2 on Harms. So 2 straight curves against Harms there. So far, Zuckerman, who has a really good fastball, has not challenged Harms with that here in this at-bat. We'll see what he comes with on 0-2. Another breaking ball. That's hit into right field, and we have the first hit of the game. On an 0-2 pitch, Zuckerman, I believe, coming back maybe to the curve there. That might have been a slider or a changeup. I don't know. Take guesses here. What do we got, Sela? What do you think? Changeup. There we go. So it looks like the curveball is in the 70s, changeup low 80s, fastball 90s. Is that kind of where it's coming in at? Cool. This is going to be fun. 103 off the bat by Harms, by the way. So there you go. That's a shot. At the plate now is Tyler Stilson, who could help his own cause here in the first inning. A 362 hitter on the year, 5 home runs, 24 runs batted in. Mentioned last year down in Atlanta, Zuckerman against the Spartans, as that one's fouled back with Harms running. And the count goes to 0-2. 6 pitches, all for strikes so far for Zuckerman. Zuckerman gave up 4 hits, 5 runs. He walked 4, struck out 6. He had a 14 strikeout game and a 1-hitter over 7 2/3 innings against Wash U last year. So he's a very capable pitcher on the mound. As Stilson fouls off another one, and the count stays at 0-2. O2 offering once again from Zuckerman to Stilson. Throw down to first, and just back in time is Harms. Good quick move there from Zuckerman. O2, and the breaking ball in there for a called strike 3. Came with the curve, and Stilson frozen on that one. And that will be the second out of the inning. So 2 away now. They'll bring Franco Alonso to the plate. Alonso hitting at 346 this year. Franco's starting to heat up again after he went through a little bit of a cold stretch towards the end of the spring break trip. That ball will roll away on the pickoff attempt, and moving up to second is Harms. Now he'll go towards third. Throw comes into third base, not in time as it's cut off. And on the error by the pitcher, that will move Harms all the way up to third base. And Alonso now with a base hit would score Harms. So a chance for the Spartans to cash in here in the first in a scoreless ball game. Zuckerman, who's still yet to throw one out of the strike zone, throws the first pitch now to Alonso, and it's a fastball. There it is, down and in for a ball, 1-0. 93 from Zuckerman. That is pretty good velocity for this level. You typically see more guys living in the high 80s than low 90s. Another fastball inside, 2-0. But we've seen Zuckerman pretty consistently at 93. Two-0 pitch. Breaking ball down and away, 3-0. Well, Alonso, I would imagine, is going to get a green light here on a 3-0 pitch. Typically, Matt Engler not one to hold up the players on an opportunity to get a base hit, especially with the runner at third and 2 away. And they're taking and takes it inside, or takes it on the inside corner for a strike, 3-1. Three-one offering. Well outside, ball 4. So that's been the bugaboo for Zuckerman this year. Has been the free passes, and he issues one there. And so now runners on the corners for the Spartans. That's not necessarily a killer walk there, but you've got a tough out to get here with Dane Camphausen coming to the plate. Camphausen still trying to get into the swing of things, no pun intended, after missing some time due to an injury. Came back last weekend, played all 4 games against WashU. Started to come around a bit towards the end of the weekend as he takes the 92-mile-an-hour fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. That was the changeup, and the count goes to 0-2. Pitch, and it's a called strike on the outside corner, and on 3 pitches, Camphausen strikes out to end the inning. So the Spartans get 2 on, but leave them stranded on the corners, and we'll move into the second. It'll be Halloran, Dinchman, and Wasserloff to the plate here in the second when we return, scoreless between the Eagles and the Spartans. Check 1. Four, 5, and 6 in the Emory order due up here in the second inning after Stilson sat the side down in order in the first. Retired all 3 batters he faced on just 9 pitches, 7 of which were strikes, and he'll begin his second inning of work against the Eagles. Emory got to Stilson last year when he started against the Eagles. As the first pitch, foul tip back, and it's an 0-1 count on Halloran, a .373 hitter. Halloran, 7 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Really talented hitter at the plate. The 0-1. And that's a little up high, 1-1. Now Stilson working from the stretch with the bases empty, sets and delivers his 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss there. 85-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 1-2. Halloran, a senior out of West Hampton Beach, New York. West Hampton Beach High School, 6'3", 220 pounds. Right-handed hitter, awaits the 1-2 from Stilson. That one's up and out for a ball. 2-2. Gotta imagine he came up high with the fastball there. That's gotta be a setup pitch here for something soft in a way, you would think. 2-2. And Stilson skipped that one in there. Did try to hit that lower outside corner, maybe squeeze that ball a little too tight as the count goes full, 3-2. Last year against Emory down in Atlanta, Stilson gave up 5 runs, all earned on 4 walks and 5 hits. Did strike out 4 against the Eagles. And that misses outside, ball 4. So after throwing just 9 pitches in his first inning of work, Stilson issues a 6-pitch walk to Halloran. And now Blake Dinchman will be the batter. Dinchman, a .412 hitter on the year. 1 home run, 30 runs batted in. These are 2 teams that can certainly swing it. It was evident last weekend during both of their series. There's the breaking ball in there for a called strike, 0-1. Halloran, 2 stolen bases on as many attempts. Not much of a stolen base threat, as that one's fouled away. Although Emory certainly a team that historically has run the bases well and often. Emory under new leadership this year. Head coach Bobby Perez, the longtime assistant at Emory, taking over the reins of the team from longtime head coach Mike Twardowski, who retired at the end of last year. Just off the outside corner of the plate, and the count goes to 1-2. Counts at 1-2. Stilson with a runner on at first. That's Halloran. Ahead in the count here against Dinchman, excuse me. Pickoff attempt at first, not in time. Here's the 1-2. Up high, 2-2. A little bit more of a slog here in the second for Stilson as he delivers the 2-2 offering. And that's in the dirt for ball 3. Tyler's done a good job getting ahead in the count, but he's trying to nip at the corners here once he does get ahead, and that's come back to bite him a little bit. Emory a little more patient here in the second inning than they were in the first. Here's the 3-2 from Stilson. Runner not going, and it's fouled back. So 3-2, nobody out, runner at first base. Stilson comes set again. Here's his pitch. And that's in there, a called strike 3, 85-mile-an-hour fastball that just nipped that lower outside corner. And there's one gone. So big first out for Stilson. Halloran still at first, and Zach Wasserloff will be the batter. Wasserloff hitting a .221 on the year, 19 runs batted in. If I'm not mistaken, I think Wasserloff has previously played the infield for Emory in earlier years. Good hitter, having a bit of a down year this year with the average of .221, but he still started all 24 games, now 25 for Emory this season. Leading the team with 10 stolen bases. As the pitch, fastball, knee high for a strike. And it's an 0-1 count. Stilson's been sitting right at about 85, 86 miles an hour with that fastball today. Took a little off of that and leaves it up high as the count evens 1-1. Hit hard, third baseline, foul. 2 off the bat there from Wasserloff. Will have to retreat to the plate. Do they call it fair? Oh, they call catcher's interference. So a catcher's interference there. And it'll be first and second with 1 away. I think first one of those we've seen from the Spartans this year. So a little bit of trouble now for Stilson to work around here. And the batter at the plate is Mitchell Smallwood, who takes a called first strike, 0-1. Smallwood, a lefty out of Washington, D.C., St. John's College High School. 5'9", 170 pounds. The 0-1 sprays that foul, and it's quickly 0-2. Smallwood hitting at .364. He's driven in 9. He's making just his 10th start of the year, appearing in his 14th game overall. Of his 12 hits this year, 2 have been for extra bases. He has a pair of doubles. 7-hitter in the Spartans lineup, and the designated hitter, Smallwood, awaits the 0-2 from Stilson. And leaves that one up high. A little extra on that one. Came in at 87, but taken by Smallwood as the count goes to 1-2. Again, Stilson has paired that high fastball with the changeup down and away. Let's see if he does that again here. Donahue sets up behind the plate, and it's popped up. Behind home plate, long look by Donahue, but no chance to get to that. And the count stays at 1-2. Thirtieth pitch of the game coming up here for Stilson. It comes with 1 out and 2 on in the second. 1-2 pitch to Smallwood. And it's on the inside corner, called strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning and the game for Stilson. Second time he's caught an Emory hitter looking. Doing a good job sneaking that fastball in there. That one might have missed a little inside by a shade. It's a called strike 3, and that will bring Brock Lou to the plate. Lou hitting a .272 on the year. First pitch. And a swing and a miss, 0-1 from Lou. Lou hitting a .272, a home run and 12 RBIs for him this year. Lou got off to a great start to his career. .322 hitter with 2 home runs, 15 RBIs during his freshman year, as that's a called strike, 0-2, and still's in a strike away from working around some trouble here in the frame. He hit both of his home runs that season against the Spartans. The 0-2 from Stilson. And the fastball outside corner, 89. That's his fastest of the day, I believe. Catches the outside corner for a called strike 3, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and 2 left on, and we'll move into the bottom of the second as the Spartans try to get on the board. They'll send Donahue and Draco and Carinci to the plate to try to do that when we return. Welcome back once again as we're at Nobby's Ballpark. Batter at the plate is Sean Donahue, who takes a first pitch ball. Donahue starting to get more playing time now, and he's certainly earned it. He's been a great bat in the lineup for the Spartans. Hitting at .296 on the year, 5 runs batted in. And skies that one high in the air, deep towards center field. Playable out there. And putting that one away is the center fielder Lawson for the first out. So one away, and they'll bring Logan Andraco to the plate with the bases empty. Andraco, a .309 hitter on the year, 12 runs batted in. It's been a bit of an up-and-down season for Logan. Left-handed batter out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Cranks that one foul, and it's 0-1. Now the 0-1 offering. That's inside and hit him. 91-mile-an-hour fastball might leave a bit of a bruise there, but Andraco seems to be okay, and he'll move on to first base. The Spartans have a runner on with one away in the inning. And that'll bring Zach Carinci to the plate. Carinci, the graduate student out of Twinsburg, Ohio. Zach's starting to look a little bit more like his old self now. Had a couple of hits against Wash U last weekend. I think hit 4-something for the weekend. So starting to come around a little bit here as he swings and misses at the 91-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1 the count. Carinci, a .255 hitter for the year. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. He's kind of secured his place in the Spartans lineup with the defense he plays at third. Case Western doesn't really have another third baseman that's capable right now really of playing at that level, especially with Stilson seeing a lot of time at first base when he's not pitching. Taken up high by Carinci there, and it's 1-1. Another breaking ball. That one misses up high again, and it's 2-1. Carinci in his 5th year with the Spartans. So that pickoff attempt just a little late to get Andraco. Zuckerman quick to first base, and you could see the Spartans, especially with a righty, you're typically can be a bit more adventurous at first here, but he's had a couple close calls. Really athletic move to first base. Here Andraco's going. It's a hit and run as Carinci fouls that one back, and the count goes to 2-2. Andraco had a nice jump on that one, read it well, but will have to retreat to first here on the foul ball. Arterburn out on deck. Zuckerman now at 24 pitches on the day. And that one lifted in the air, center field, cutting over is Lawson, dives, and he made the catch. Nice play in center field from Lawson for the second out of the inning. Took a hit away from Zach Carinci on a ball hit to center that was dying quickly. Not quick enough, and a good defensive play there by Jake Lawson. So 2 away now, and that'll bring Nate Arterburn to the plate. Arterburn has swung the bat better lately, too. .234 hitter on the year with 10 runs batted in. And jams by that one, sends it down the first base side foul, and it's an 0-1 count. That fastball from Zuckerman is going to be hard to hit all day today. That is, again, for Division III, typically don't see guys pitching in the low 90s like that, and he's been consistently 92, 93. Heading the count here, 0-2 on Arterburn. Bottom of the second inning, scoreless so far. Runner at first for the Spartans is Logan Andraco, the 0-2. And Arterburn fouls that one back to stay alive. Another fastball. Count stays at 0-2. Jack Anderson waiting out on deck, hoping to get a shot. He'll need Arterburn to reach this inning. We're going to come to the plate here in the second. Arterburn, the shortstop out of South Lake, Texas, awaits the 0-2. And the breaking ball hits softly towards second. Charging in is Lou, and he'll flip over to first in time to get the out. And that ends the second. So the Spartans get a base runner after Logan Andraco was hit by a pitch, but he's left stranded at first. We'll move along into the third in a scoreless game. 9-1-2 for Emory. Hanson, Lawson, and Conley due up when we return. Stilson finishing up his warm-ups here as the Spartans and the Eagles scoreless through the first 2 innings. That's a little bit of a different twist to what we've seen from UAA baseball so far, right, Tim? Scoreless 2 innings of baseball. That's a rarity these days. Yeah, it feels like the way the UAA is right now. If you're not scoring 10 runs, you're probably not winning the game. That's what it looked like that first weekend, you know, so hopefully settle into a little bit more of a pitching rhythm here. So that one's taken up high for a ball. And it's 1-0. Stilson at 33 pitches entering the inning, through just 9 in the first. Had to labor a little bit more in the second, but worked through his second scoreless frame. Fouled away. Batter at the plate is Zach Hansen, the shortstop, a .267 hitter on the year with 9 runs batted in. Hansen, a sophomore out of Atlanta, Georgia, Westminster High School. Fouled back. Former Emory athletic director Tim Downs eventually, after leaving Emory, became the athletic director at Westminster, so sure even before he arrived on campus, Hansen had some familiarity with the with the Eagles program. One, 2. And that one just misses. And that'll be ball 2, 2-2. One might have dipped that upper outside corner of the strike zone here. Here's the 2-2. And a swing and a miss at the breaking ball, strike 3. Fourth strikeout of the game for Stilson, whose last 4 outs have all come via the strikeout. And there's one away now. Back to the top of the order with Jake Lawson coming to the plate. Lawson 0 for 1, a ground out to second in his first at bat. Left-handed hitter facing the righty Stilson. First pitch on the way. Fastball down and in, 1-0. Here's the 1-0 offering from Stilson. Took a little off of that one. That was the changeup there. And the count goes to 1-1 as he parked that on the outside. Here's the 1-1. Fastball, fouled. And the count now 1-2. Stilson has looked sharp. It has been impressive to see the leap he has made from last year to this year. He was a great player for the team last year as a first-year player, but he is playing in all aspects of his game with a little bit more maturity than I think we saw last season from him. And that's not to knock his play last year. He has just grown as a player significantly. 1-2 pitch on the way. And that hit him. So he came inside with the fastball. That clipped Lawson. Absolutely no intent there by any means from Stilson, who was ahead in the count 1-2. Last thing you want to do there is hit a batter. And so there'll be a runner on now with one away for Emory. And some dangerous hitters come to the plate here that Stilson's going to have to navigate, starting with Aiden Conley, the left-handed hitting third baseman. Conley flew out to left field in his first at-bat, but again, he has had some tremendous numbers this year. 33 runs batted in. He's hitting at .421, .417, including the out earlier. 7 home runs, 9 doubles, 3 triples. A lot of power this season from Conley, who takes the breaking ball first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Lead at first for Lawson, who's stolen 4 bases on 5 attempts this year. Stilson checks him. Lawson back in plenty of time, and it remains an 0-1 count at the plate. Little bit of a cooler day than we had yesterday, but the sun is out and shining here today. As the changeup swung on and missed at 0-2. Conley ramped up on the fastball there, but got the change instead from Stilson. And now Stilson in a spot after throwing a curveball for a strike on the first pitch, changeup for a strike on the second, can throw whatever he wants here ahead in the count 0-2. This is typically where he's come with that high fastball. Here's the 0-2 offering, and instead it's another changeup down and away, swung on and missed at for strike 3. A 3-pitch strikeout of a tough hitter for Stilson, who has now struck out 5 batters, and he's an out away from working around a base runner here in the third with the 3-hitter Matthew Sicoli coming to the plate. Sicoli flew out to Nick Harms in right his first time up. Now hitting at .389 on the year. 2 home runs, 29 runs batted in. And another good changeup there, I believe. Yep, for a swing and a miss. That changeup has been sharp this inning. Stilson generating a lot of swings and misses on that change. Lawson takes his lead from first. We'll see if he's running at any point in this at-bat to try to get into scoring position with 2 away. You know, the impressive thing with Stilson, and I said earlier in the season that, you know, Stilson I thought was really benefiting at the plate from being able to focus on hitting. And frankly, I was wrong in that comment. Runner not going. Pitch taken outside. Snap throw to first, and it's not in time. I thought Camphausen might have gotten that tag on Lawson's right hand as his left hand came up to touch the bag. But the umpire in the field saying that Lawson did indeed get back in time, so it's now 1-1 count. Swung on, ground ball, hit through the hole at third base and into left field for a base hit. First hit of the game for Emory. And there'll be 2 on with 2 away for Jack Halloran, who is certainly capable of making this a 3-run game with 1 swing here. He's got first and second with 2 away. That was another change there by Stilson. Might have left it a bit more in the strike zone than he was intending to do there. So Halloran now at the plate. Again, a very dangerous hitter. 7 home runs on the season for Halloran. Drew a walk in his first at bat and swings and misses at a first pitch fastball there, 0-1. Good job by Stilson to mix things up. Halloran was a D3 baseball all-region first team and an all-UAA first team honoree last year. Waits the 0-1 from Stilson. And that's in the dirt, gets away. That'll move both runners up a bag as the count goes to 1-1 on Halloran. Just the wild pitch advancing the runners. Just the second wild pitch this season from Stilson. Halloran, the owner of 27 career home runs, entering play today. Breaking ball outside. 2-1. Still a little bit of a jam here for Stilson with 2 in scoring position and 2 away in the third. He's behind in the count, 2-1 on Halloran, who could do some damage with one swing. That time the fastball up and out, ball 3-1, and you have to be careful here. If you're Stilson, you've got a tough hitter in Blake Ditchman out on deck, but you also need to be careful of the hitter at the plate. Nice pitch there, caught the outside corner. Changeup right on that outside corner. And the count now full 3-2. Again, I think if with first base open here, if you're Stilson, you don't have to throw a fastball in this situation. You could try to go back to that changeup again, down and out. Here's the 3-2. And he came fastball, 89, put a little extra on that, but it missed up high. And that is ball 4. Second walk issued today, and that'll load the bases with 2 away for Emory and bring Blake Ditchman to the plate. Ditchman hitting a .407 on the year. 0 for 1 in the game. Struck out looking his last time up. Stilson up to 54 pitches in this one. His first real jam of the day with the bases loaded and 2 away against Emory. A good hitting team. And the first pitch, curveball, catches the upper portion of the strike zone for a called strike, 0-1. Lawson at third, Sicoli at second, Halloran at first. 2 away in the third inning, scoreless, each team with a hit apiece. And a swing and a miss there. Another curveball, that time Dinkman went chasing it, it's 0-2, and I think after seeing that swing, if you're Stilson, you got to be thinking another curveball down and out. You may try to set him up here with a fastball, but if you do, I think it's got to be up and in. The 0-2 on the way from Stilson. And it's another breaking ball swung on and missed at strike 3. Stilson with his 6th strikeout. Each of his last 6 outs have been by strikeout. And the game remains scoreless as Emory leaves the bases loaded in the third. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 3 left on base. We'll move to the third. Top of the order for the Spartans, Anderson, Harms, and Stilson when we come back. Well, it's been the rare pitchers duel so far in the UAA here as Josh Zuckerman and Tyler Stilson have exchanged zeros with each other through the first 2 innings, I should say. We move to the third now. And Jack Anderson, who nearly reached on a bunt single his first time up, will swing and miss at the first pitch. 0-1 the count. Looked like a changeup. Anderson, a .348 hitter, already has a career high with 4 home runs this year. Skies that one high into shallow right field. Should be an easy play out there. Coming over and making the catch is Sokoli. And there's one gone. So Anderson 0 for 2, and now Nick Harms, who has the Spartans' only hit of the game, will come to the plate. Harms, who's now hitting a .430 on the year, singled in his first at bat. Harms has been as hot as any hitter out there right now. He's currently riding a 20-game hitting streak, including the single earlier today. By the way, I neglected to mention this about Jack Anderson, but Jack currently tied for the program lead, career lead. So that's a called strike. 0-2. Tied for the lead with 263 career hits. Sorry, 1-1 the count. So we'll see when Jack comes up next time if he can become the program's all-time hit leader. Harms, who had his typical otherworldly performance against Wash U last weekend. That one taken down low. He only hit 2 home runs in that series, which frankly for Nick against Wash U is a little on the low side for him, but he has just been fantastic in his career against his hometown team, the Bears. That one's well outside. Of course, for Harms, who draws the walk here, really, the legend of Nick Harms was birthed against Emory his first year here. He went down to Atlanta his first year and I think hit 3 home runs that series. One of them landed on the softball field, which for those of you who have seen Emory's field, it's hard to hit a ball out to left field. There's also a giant net, to right field. There's a giant net, and he cleared the net and somehow found its way in about the second base bag on the softball field that sits back-to-back with the baseball field. It's Tyler Stilson ahead in the count 1-0 against Zuckerman. After the walk to Harms, that one popped up, foul and out of play. And it's 1-1 now on Stilson. Stilson has been great on the mound. He's been great at the plate this year for the Spartans. Batting at .358, 5 home runs, 24 runs batted in. He's done a little bit of everything, and the most impressive thing for Stilson is that he's done it while learning a new position on the fly. Called strike, brings it to 1-2. That was the breaking ball. Here's the 1-2 on the way. And just getting a piece of it to stay alive is Stilson. Count stays at 1-2. Franco Alonso waiting out on deck. Nick Harms, the runner at first. You got to watch out for Nick at first base. He's not your prototypical power hitter in that he can steal his share of bases too. 9 on 9 attempts this year. Tied for the team lead with Franco Alonso out on deck. Harms takes his steps off the bag, now throw down to first. Zuckerman's done a good job controlling the running game. He gets the ball to first base quick, especially for a righty. Harms was almost picked off his first time on the base paths. 1-2. And that one gets away, all the way to the backstop. Zuckerman squeezed that one a little too tight as the count goes to 2-2 on Stilson, and Harms moves up 90 feet on the wild pitch. That's all about consistency and release point. And there, Zuckerman held on to that one a little bit too long on what I believe was a fastball. Swung on chopper, third base side, and Stilson stays alive as that one goes foul. Stilson out of Chapel Hill, North Carolina. A couple players on this team from that area, and it's interesting, the catcher for the Spartans today, Sean Donahue, caught Stilson over the years. That one grounded hard to third. Throw goes down, not in time. And that will be an infield single for Stilson as Harms moves up a bag. I don't believe that there would have been any play at first base for the shortstop Hansen. And so an infield single for Stilson puts runners on the corners with one away. And once again, a chance for the Spartans to take a lead with Franco Alonso coming to the plate. Alonso, the Pasadena, California product, and a graduate student who is in his second year with the team after playing his undergraduate career at Cornell. He drew a walk in his first at bat, hitting a .346 on the year, and takes ball one. It's 1-0. Alonso can give the Spartans the lead here in the bottom of the third in a scoreless game. Men on the corners. Big lead at first for Stilson. And that one gets away, and everyone will move up. A wild pitch scores the first run of the game as Nick Harms crosses the plate. Stilson goes to second, and the Spartans take a 1-0 lead. So the Spartans strike first here in the third. Still a runner in scoring position now for Alonso, who's ahead in the count 2-0 with Dane Camphausen waiting on deck. That's down low, ball 3. (3-0) to Alonso, and a fastball outside corner. 3-1. (3-1) pitch. Inside, ball 4. And so that'll put 2 on with 1 away and bring Dane Camphausen to the plate. Well, said that if the legend of Nick Harms was birthed at Emory 4 years ago, Dane Camphausen's legend grew last year at Emory when he absolutely torched the Eagles. Camphausen, in 3 games against Emory, drove in 13 runs. He hit 3 home runs in that weekend. Just a massive weekend for Dane. Now, you might say to yourself, well, it's a 4-game series. The guy is red hot. Why did he only play 3 games against Emory? Well, he was ejected from the second game of that series for tossing his bat. And, you know, you look at it and from my opinion, probably a little bit of a dubious ejection there. But either way, he was ejected from the game and had to miss one of the games. So really in 2.5 games, again, 2.5 games last year against Emory, Dane Camphausen drove in 13 runs. And so Dane, after striking out looking in his first at-bat of the day, will come back to the plate here to face Zuckerman for a second time. Camphausen now hitting at .359. Called strike to Camphausen, and it's 0-1. Dane was starting to slow down before his injury, but then he came back in the first couple of games against Wash U, not his normal self at the plate. Cranks that one foul, and it's an 0-2 count. And so we'll see. It may take Dane a little bit to get back going at the level he's capable of. Not sure he's 100% yet either, but certainly capable enough of playing. 0-2 the count with 2 on and 1 away. Camphausen at the plate. Zuckerman has some pitches to work with here. Here's the 0-2. And that one fouled back. Count stays at 0-2. Came with a breaking ball there. Zuckerman trying to work around some trouble here. One run across already for the Spartans in the third as Camphausen fouls that one back. Looks like a change up there. So the count stays at 0-2 on Camphausen, who's trying to fight his way through this at bat. Zuckerman 52 pitches deep into his day, his 0-2 offering. And a swing and a miss at a 90-mile-an-hour fastball for strike 3. Second time Camphausen has been struck out today, and with 2 gone now, it'll be up to Sean Donahue to extend the Spartans' lead further. Donahue 0 for 1, flew out to center field in his first at bat. Breaking ball, first pitch, foul back. And it's 0-1. Velocity has been a little down this inning for Zuckerman, who was throwing 92-93 earlier in the game. We've seen more 90s out of him so far this inning. Gives a couple looks back to second. Now delivers. Fastball. Changeup swung on and missed at 0-2. Might have actually even been the curve there. And that one will miss. Zuckerman trying to escape further damage this inning. Nick Harms crossed the plate on a wild pitch with 1 out in the frame after reaching on a walk. It's a 1-2 count now on Donahue, the junior catcher for the Spartans, hitting at 286 on the season, and he tries to hold up there but cannot. No, he does. The way the home plate umpire was walking out, I thought he was going to call it at the plate. They checked with the umpire in the field, and he said he held, so the count stays at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And he swings and misses, strike 3. They'll have to complete the play at first, and Halloran able to hold the bag for the out. And that ends the inning. But the Spartans get on the board as Nick Harms scores on a wild pitch. Case Western Reserve takes a 1-0 lead, and we'll move to the fourth. It'll be Wasserloff, Smallwood, and Lou due up 6, 7, and 8 in the Emory order when we return. Case Western Reserve grabbed a 1-0 lead in the Bottom of the third, we move to the fourth. Emory coming to bat, and we'll send Wasserlove, Smallwood, and Lou to the plate. 6, 7, and 8 in the order. To face Tyler Stilson, who has recorded his last 6 outs, all by way of the strikeout. This is outside there with the curveball, and it's 1-0. 58 pitches now, including that one for Stilson. Another one misses. Fastball was low there, and it's 2-0. Stilson was very efficient in the first inning. Threw just 9 pitches to get 3 outs in the first, retired the side in order. Has had to work a little harder since. That ball lifted in the air, high down the line and left. Over is Arterburn, and he makes the catch. Hat or no hat, everyone's losing their hats in that one. Carinci's hat fell off as he tried to track it down. That's an easier angle for the shortstop, even though he has to cover more distance. And a good job to stay with that by Arterburn, who's kind of able to circle around it, had it lined up well, and puts it away for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. And the batter now is Mitchell Smallwood. And that one grounded towards the hole and through for a base hit. Second hit of the game for Emory, as Smallwood able to pick up the single on the first pitch he sees in the at-bat, and there'll be 1 on and 1 away for Brock Lou. Lou struck out looking in his first at-bat. Hitting here with a man on and 1 away. Smallwood, in case you're curious, has stolen 3 bases on 3 attempts this season, so we'll see if he's moving here. With 1 out and Lou at the plate. Pitch taken for a ball. Snap throw down to first is not in time. Good job at first base there by Camphausen. Try to keep those legs loose out there. A little jump at first for Camphausen. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball hits the short. Could be 2 if they hurry. To second for 1. Alonso's throw to first. And Camphausen can't apply the tag. And they'll get just the 1. That has been a bit of an issue for the Spartans this season in turning that double play. That is not a strong suit for Franco Alonso at second base, who's been a bit errant at times with that throw to first on what should be double plays in those situations. It doesn't go in the book as an error because you can't assume the double play, but that's probably one that should have gotten Stilson back in the dugout. And so now 2 outs, 9-hitter Zach Hansen coming up. Here's the 1-0 offering. Hit hard, first base side, and threw for a base hit. Almost took out Lou. Instead, it'll be a base hit for Hansen. Second hit of the inning for Emory, their 3rd hit of the game. And 2 on, first and second, 2 away now for Jake Lawson, who's 0 for 1 in the game. Grounded out to second in the first, and then was hit by a pitch on a 1-2 count in the 3rd. Coming up to bat for the 3rd time today, Lawson with 2 on, 2 away, a .380 hitter on the year. Big out here for Stilson to try to get. We're starting to jump a bit more on that first pitch changeup from Stilson than they were earlier in the game. There you see him come with that changeup again. Maybe took a little bit more off of it and a little bit lower with it out of the strike zone, but got the swing and the miss as the count goes to 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Called strike. That was a fastball at the knees, and that brings the count to 0-2, and now Stilson can work through the inning with 1 more out. 1 more strike, I should say. Lou takes his lead from second. Hansen from first. Lawson at the plate. 0-2, 2 away. 1-0 Spartans. Top of the 4th. Stilson looks back. Now bends at the knees and delivers, and it's fouled back. count stays at 0-2. Another change up there from Stilson. Couple change-ups in a row here for Tyler. We'll see if he tries the fastball, maybe adjust the eye level a little bit. Donahue setting up on that outside corner. Is the 0-2 on the way. And there is the fastball up high, taken for a ball, 1-2. And so now, if you're Stilson here, you could try to pair that with your changeup or a curve here. We've also seen him at times try to sneak that fastball past the hitter and what you would imagine would be an off-speed count. See what he does here, 1-2 on his 70th pitch of the game. And he comes with another high fastball. It misses, and it's 2-2. Situations when Stilson has gone to the fastball, we've seen him ramp up a little extra at times to get that final out. Again, he's been about 86, 87 with the fastball most of the day. We've seen him hit 89. Here's his 2-2. And there comes with another changeup that gets fouled back. So Lawson wasting those change-ups here. Stilson maybe a bit hesitant to throw the breaking ball to the left-handed hitter. It's the pitch on the way. And there was that curve. It misses down and in, though, and it's 3-2. Maybe tried to go back foot with that one. So the count full, 3-2. Runners will be in motion with first and second and 2 away in the full count at the plate. Extra base hit here could give Emory the lead. The 3-2 offering. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 77-mile-an-hour changeup waved at by Lawson, and that will be the third out of the inning. 7th strikeout of the game for Stilson, and he keeps the Spartans in front 1-0 as we move to the bottom of the 4th inning. Due up for the Spartans, bottom of the order, Andraco, Carinci, and Arterburn when we come back. Logan Andraco set to lead things off, trying to get something started for the Spartans here in the 4th, and fouls back the first pitch as the count goes to 0-1. Andraco reached on a hit-by-pitch back in the 2nd inning. Zuckerman about to throw his 60th pitch of the game. He works from the stretch also with the bases empty. Both pitchers doing that today. Down low, ball 1, 1-1. Here's the 1-1 offering. Breaking ball. Misses for a ball. A little bit low there as the count goes to 2-1. Again, it is a perfect day for baseball outside. Temperature will get up to about 60 today. I know you Atlanta folks might not think that's that warm, but you haven't survived the Cleveland winter. Trust me, 60 sounds fantastic right about now. Although yesterday it was about 70 out here. A little bit warmer out, but trust me, we'll take 60 around these parts. Up high, ball 4, and a leadoff walk drawn by Andraco, who's on base for the second time today. Leadoff walk issued. You know what the old maxim is about those. So a man on, nobody out. Andraco is a stolen base threat. More of an opportunistic stealer than a speed threat, I would say, but he can move. We saw him take off on a pitch that was fouled back by Zach Carinci. His first time on the bases here. Carinci squares to bunt, pulls it back, and takes a high fastball. And the count goes to 1-0. Here's the 1-0 offering to Carinci. Squares the bunt again, pulls it back again, takes a called strike. And it's 1-1. I'm not sure if Zach is actually looking to bunt here. Frankly, I'd be surprised if he was. With Arterburn out on deck. Sort of a pick your poison here if you're the Spartans. You want to try to take 2 shots with a runner at second base or 3 shots with a runner at first. And Draco dives back in. Of course, Andraco could just try to steal second here and solve everyone's problems. Best of both worlds. 1-1 the count on Carinci, the graduate student. That one missed outside. Slider brings the count to 2-2. 82-mile-an-hour slider off that outside corner. Foul back, 2-2 count. Josh Zuckerman on the mound in his 4th inning of work, about to throw his 68th pitch. And a pickoff attempt, and Draco was caught leaning the wrong way. Was not far off the bag, though, and was still able to dive back in time before getting tagged. Two-two pitch. That ball hit in the air, right center field, and that'll drop down for a base hit. Andraco turns the corner at second. Here comes the throw to third, and it is cut off, and over to third base goes Andraco. Another base hit for Zach Carinci, who's really showing some signs of turning his season around. And the Spartans, for the second straight inning, have runners on the corners with less than 2 outs and a chance to add to a 1-0 lead, with Nate Arterburn coming to the plate. I think we're seeing Zach more and more, and he's never been necessarily a pull guy, but I think more and more just trying to take the ball the opposite way. He's making some really nice adjustments to the plate. As that one bunted out in front of the mound, and the throw comes home. The ball is loose, and Andraco is safe. A suicide squeeze play there by the Spartans, a squeeze play, I should say. And it comes off successful. That'll go as an infield bunt single for Arterburn. So a bunt base hit for Arterburn brings the run across. It's first and second now with nobody out. And now Jack Anderson coming to the plate in a 2-0 game and a chance to do some damage here. Carinci at second, Arterburn at first, Anderson at the plate, a hit away from the program career record. So 1-0 count on Anderson, sitting on the precipice of Spartan history. There's a fastball down and in. taken for a strike on that lower inside corner. And it's 1-1 on Jack, who is a little bit more patient here than we've seen him in his previous at-bats today. I think he swung at the first pitch both previous times up. Now it's an even count, 1-1 against Zuckerman. And that one missed down low as the slider couldn't quite catch. Well, Zuckerman's got to be careful here that the wheels don't come off here in the fourth. Still nobody out, 2 on. And the top of the Spartans' order with a chance to do some damage. The 2-1 on the way to Anderson. And he was sky-high pop-up into the foul territory on the first base side. It'll be an infield fly affair. The first baseman, Halloran, makes the catch, trips over his catcher, Dinchman, who seems to be no worse for the wear, but that'll be the first out of the inning. That is a big one to retire Anderson there, but now Nick Harms will come to the plate. Harms has been on base both times today. A single in the first, a walk in the third. And batting here in an RBI situation against Zuckerman. And a chance for Nick Harms to continue the tear he's been on this season. First pitch to Harms, fastball away. Oh, called a strike. That was, according to TrackMan, well outside. And let's see what's going on here. A timeout call. Oh, and it looks like the pitch comm is not working. Yep. So Blake Dinchman heads over to head coach Bobby Perez, who is not only the head coach of this team, but apparently IT support as well. He'll reconnect all the wires and see if they can get the pitch comm working. Well, you know, PitchCom saves a lot of time, but when it stops working, you tend to get these little delays. You see it in the majors, too. The bigger issue, and I don't know how much teams actually practice this anymore, but, you know, there's the old-fashioned art of a catcher of calling signs for pitchers, and frankly, I don't know, and I'd be curious to ask, you know, the Spartans coaching staff this. How capable is the typical catcher of going out there and calling a game by throwing down signs? It's frankly probably something that you would think they're less skilled at than they used to be, because now you come into college and most teams nowadays, catchers are not throwing down signs anymore. I'm sure there's got to be a backup plan, but it's just maybe not a well-rehearsed backup plan. One on Harms, now 0-2 as he takes a big cut at that one when chasing the breaking ball. Harms did have a 2-strike single his first time up. Hitting here with 2 on and 1 away. Zuckerman trying to work around some trouble. There's a run across and 2 men on before he got his first out of the inning. Now a chance for a big second out here as Harms just got a piece of that. Staying alive, it's 0-2. A lot of breaking balls low to Harms, who's gone chasing. So 0-2. 1 away, 2 on for the Spartans. Bottom of the 4th inning, it's 2-0 Case Western Reserve. And Harms wastes that pitch foul. Count stays at 0-2. Fastball there, 90 from Zuckerman, who again is starting to lose a little bit of velocity, maybe, not much, a little bit. But again, if you're throwing 90 at this level, that's still plenty to get some outs. The 0-2. Breaking ball, runners go, the pitch, or the throw is not in time. That'll be a double steal. So Carinci and Arterburn both moving up a bag. For Carinci, his 3rd stolen base of the season. The trailing runner, Arterburn, picks up his 2nd. It's a 1-2 count now on Harms, who with a base hit here can put the Spartans up 4. And he swings and hits that one hard but foul down the first baseline. 92 off the bat from Harms on an 83-mile-an-hour, what I believe was a changeup. I got to think that changeup is setting up another low slider here out of the strike zone. See if you get Harms to fish for one. Pitch from Zuckerman. And that one swung on, hit towards the gap in right center field for a base hit. Carinci scores easily. Here comes Arterburn. The throw into no man's land. And it's a 2 RBI base hit for Nick Harms. 102 off the bat for Nick. And that gives the Spartans a 4-0 lead. So 4-0, Case Western Reserve. Tyler Stilson will be the batter here. And it looks like we'll get some PitchCom maintenance. Have to give my daily special shout out here. My son Cody is watching from home today. So hi Cody, how are you? It was either the Spartan baseball game or Bluey, and I'm happy you chose the Spartan baseball game over the talking dog today. That's not always an easy choice. Normally it goes the other way. Pickoff attempt down to first. Not in time as Stilson at the plate. 1 for 2 on the day with an infield single. Stilson takes that down low. Nick Harms, another 2 RBI hit. He's got 32 driven in this year. He's running on that one. Throw goes down, not in time. And Harms with his team-leading 10th stolen base of the year. It's a 2-0 count at the plate. And now another RBI opportunity here for Tyler Stilson. A very sharp game all around so far for the Spartans. Chance to add on more as Stilson swings and misses at the 91-mile-an-hour fastball. And the count goes to 2-1. Harms trying to draw some attention at second. Took a big hop on a secondary lead off that base. As Zuckerman delivers that one inside. Now 3-1 on Stilson with first base open and Franco Alonso waiting out on deck. Harms really dancing off that bag. And that fastball misses down low. And that's ball 4. Second walk of the inning for Zuckerman. His 5th walk of the game. And now Franco Alonso coming to the plate with 1 out and 2 on. Alonso's walked twice so far today. Patient at the plate thus far. Not mistaken, worked his way into 3-0 counts against Zuckerman both times he's been up. Takes that one outside for ball 1. That fastball just 89, and that's going to prompt a meeting here from the pitching coach for the Eagles, Sam Carpenter. I don't believe there's any action in the Emory bullpen as of yet, although they will, I believe, start running out, making the long trot along that right field fence to get to the bullpen in center. Number 12, it looks like. Let's see. That's Mahir Patel. If that who is going to go out there to warm. So we'll see how much Zuckerman has left in the tank. His team trailing 4-0 in the bottom of the 4th. Again, this is a huge UAA series. Zuckerman misses there, and he has lost the strike zone for the moment here. 2-0 count. And that one looked a bit outside, but called a strike, and it's 2-1. Again, we're looking based on TrackMan here, and assuming that's accurate, you get a pretty good read about where pitches miss. And that one looked like it might have been a bit outside. 2-1, runners go, throw down to third, not in time. Harms has his second stolen base of the inning. His 11th of the season. Stilson, the trailing runner, moves up. That was a called strike, so the count now 2-2. But a chance now for Alonso to drive in a pair with a base hit. 2-2 pitch. And he gets jammed on the inside fastball. 90 off, should say a 90-mile-an-hour fastball there from Zuckerman. Two and two, one away. The pitch in the dirt. 3-2. So full count, first base open, one away, second and third for the Spartans, who have three across already here in the fourth against Zuckerman. 3-2 pitch. And Alonso staying alive, fouls that one off. You get the feeling with Zuckerman here that he's emptying the tank a little bit as the velocity on the fastball is ticked up a mile per hour or two. Just trying to get through this fourth inning and keep his team in the game. Alonso trying to stand in his way. Another 3-2 pitch coming up here with 2 on and 1 away. Pitch from Zuckerman. And that one swung on, grounded to short. The throw will go to first in time to get the out. Coming home is Harms on the RBI ground out from Alonso, and it's now 5-0 Spartans. Stilson moves up to third on that play. And so 2 outs, runner at third now, and Dane Camphausen, who struck out twice today, will be the batter. Dane hitting at .354 on the year. Again, before he got hurt, had that batting average in the 400s. Couldn't hold up on the breaking pitch there, and it's 0-1. He hits 7 home runs during the team's first 2 weeks of the season, but still sitting at 7 here a couple weeks later. The active Division III leader in home runs takes that fastball inside, and it's 1-1. Stilson, the runner at third with 2 away, a 1-1 count on Camphausen. 95th pitch of the game from Zuckerman. Down and away, 2-1. He has been less reliant on the fastball this inning than previous innings. Two-one on the way. And Camphausen just got a piece of that one, fouling it off. Count evens 2-2. Another breaking pitch there. Two-two. And Camphausen hits that deep towards the gap in right center field, back towards the wall, and it's off the base of the wall. Camphausen, who is not moving well in the base pass, will come heading into second base with an RBI double. To quote Mac Englander, hey, we were never really playing him for his speed to begin with. He might be a step or two slower now, but he gets the job done there with a big RBI double to right center field. And the Spartans, as Stilson scores, take a 6-0 lead. So 5 runs across now here in the inning, and Sean Donahue, the 9th batter to hit in the frame for the Spartans, will step up with 2 outs and a runner at second. Donahue 0 for 2, a fly out to center and a strikeout swinging. First pitch, up high, ball 1, 1-0. Inning has gotten away from Zuckerman here with 5 runs crossing the plate and what looked to be a pitcher's duel early on. The Spartans have blown open here in the 4th. That one One's down low, catches the knees for a called strike, and it's 1-1. Next pitch will be number 100 on the day for Zuckerman. Again, you have to imagine might be facing his last batter here either way. Donahue awaits the 1-1. In the dirt, gets away, and Camphausen will lumber down to third base without a throw on the wild pitch. So he's now 90 feet away. I would anticipate Dane's going to be the designated hitter in the remaining 3 games in the series, as that misses down low. Dane playing first base, which is his normal position, and is pretty good first baseman defensively. But Spartans hoping to get the best out of Dane later in the season, although certainly appreciative of his contributions now. As that will be ball 4, and a walk issued to Donahue, and let's see if that's it for Zuckerman or if he gets another batter. Well, Bobby Perez staying on the edge of the dugout for now, and it looks like Zuckerman will get at least one more batter here. It'll be Logan Andreyko, who began the inning with a walk. He's now the 10th Spartan to come to the plate. Down low, ball 1. The Spartans will run a lot of first and third plays in these situations, but you wouldn't expect one here. Again, Camphausen not running at 100% right now. Going back to that Camphausen double, as that ball hit in the air. We'll talk about that a little bit later, the Camphausen double. Ball in center field, Lawson there, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. But the Spartans strike for 5 runs in the 4th and take a 6-0 lead into the top of the 5th. Case Western Reserve looks to be in control of this one for the moment, with Stilson coming back out. It'll be Conley, Sicoli, and Halloran due up when we return. Welcome back once again as the Spartans now working with a big lead with Tyler Stilson on the mound, who delivers the first pitch curve for a called strike. 0-1. Big curve to start off. Aiden Conley, dangerous hitter for Emory, as the Spartans now leading 6-0 in this one. That ball rocketed into left field for a base hit. 99 off the bat from Conley. I feel like that exit velocity might be a little exaggerated on there, right? We'll keep going with it. It sounds impressive. Yeah, not quite sure that was 99 off the bat, but we'll take it. So runner on at first and nobody out now for Matthew Sicoli. Sicoli 1 for 2 in the game. Fastball down and away. So that's the changeup down and away, 1-0. Popped up. Over to short. Arterburn will line it up. And makes the catch. 1 away. So Sicoli, a sky-high pop-up to short for the first out of the inning. 1 retired for Jack Halloran now, who has been on base twice. Walked in the second, walked in the third. I'm looking at Halloran's bat there. I think he's got the torpedo bat. Little bit. It's got the slight torpedo to it. Up in the air. Right field. And it's caught. 2 gone. I couldn't go a whole broadcast without mentioning the torpedo bats today, right? That's, the... And frankly, I say that I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is. And frankly, I'm not 100% sure that torpedo-style bats are legal in the NCAA. They might not be, to be honest with you. It's a fascinating discussion that's kind of going on at the highest levels of baseball right now. And there's a called strike. Listen, we're Case Western Reserve. We're an engineering school. You got to talk about the engineering implications of making a bat where you do what's really smart. You move more mass into the sweet spot in the bat. Makes it a little bit easier to make good contact. Called strike. I thought Jazz Chisholm's tweet summed it up pretty well. But yeah, you're basically just trying to get more of the bat where the ball is most likely to hit it, or at least where you want to hit it. Breaking ball down and out, 1-2. And all it took was a MIT graduate to figure that out, I guess. But, it's so fun. And that's one of the great things about baseball. They've been playing this game for, 150 years or so. And every once in a while, someone comes up with something that just changes the game a little bit. Base hit to center field there for Dinchman. And there's 2 on with 2 away. Curious to see for Stilson here if he changes his approach at all with a little bit of a lead right now. He's up to 82 pitches on the day, but a chance for Stilson here to maybe stick more with the fastball. He hasn't done that yet here. Still really using the fastball more as his secondary pitch to this Emory team than his primary pitch. It's been a lot of curves and breaking balls. There's that fastball down low, 85 from that one, and the count goes to 1-0. Mentioned taking advantage of the TrackMan system here now at Nobby's Ballpark, and it is just some impressive data that you get. Really fun to watch the numbers come in and then relate that to what happens on the field. That ball hit into left field, and that'll drop in for a base hit. Rounding the corner at third is Conley. He'll come in to score on an RBI single from Wasserloff. And Emory on the board. It's now 6-1. Dinchman stops at second base. So 2-out RBI single for Wasserloff, and that'll now bring up Mitchell Smallwood, who singled through the right side of the infield in his first trip to the plate. Smallwood now hitting at .371 this season. First pitch. And there was the curve for a strike, 0-1. Oh, changeup for a strike, 0-1. One from Stilson. Popped up, third base side. Carinci trying to track it over towards the dugout. Long run, and did he make the catch? And they'll say he made the catch, but in the dugout. The umpires are going to talk this over. They're going to, I think, try to figure out where he made that catch. Was he a step into the dugout or not? You can't cross that barrier to make the catch. You have to lean on the outside. And let's see what the call is here. And it will be an out. And Bobby Perez not happy about that call after it was changed, and is having a few words with the home plate umpire. But a nice job there by Zach Carinci to get the final out of the inning. Emory gets on the board, a run on 3 hits, but the Spartans still leading 6-1 as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Carinci, Arterburn, and Anderson due up when we come back. Well, a bit of a controversial end to the previous inning. Zach Carinci coming away with the out, and he'll lead things off here for the Spartans in the bottom of the 5th. Carinci, Arterburn, and Anderson. Carinci 1 for 2 in the game, a base hit into right center field his last time up. He's also flown out to center on what took a diving catch from Lawson in center field to rob him of a base hit. Meanwhile, Carinci will face a new pitcher on the mound. It will be Mahir Patel, the sophomore out of Edison, New Jersey, John P. Stevens High School. Patel, 6'4", 205-pound righty. He'll be appearing in his 6th game of the year and has been one of the more reliable arms this season for Emory. In his 5 appearances, all out of the bullpen, he's 1-0 with a 2.57 ERA, 7 innings of work. He's allowed just 3 hits. A 125 opponent's average. He's walked 4, struck out 4. And we'll start things off here against Zach Carinci, who scored a run during the 5-run 4th inning for the Spartans that helped them take a 6-1 lead. Carinci, first pitch swinging from Patel, fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Here's the 0-1 offering. Breaking ball inside corner for a strike, and it's 0-2. 72-mile-an-hour curve there from Patel, puts him ahead in the count. That one barely misses. Another 74-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Stayed a little up high. Here's the 1-2. And fouled away. Count stays at 1-2. Well, Zach Carinci starting to come around with the bat now. He's got the average up to 265. And it's really good to see Zach making some adjustments at his approach at the plate. Again, he's been a little injury plagued throughout his career, especially the last 2 or 3 seasons. That one stays up high, 83-mile-an-hour fastball. And while he's as healthy as he's been in a while, just taking him a little longer to get in the swing of things this year, but there he goes. Base hit to center field. Second hit of the game for Carinci, who is really starting to cook at the plate. He's on base for the second straight time, and the Spartans have the leadoff runner on for the second straight inning. And now Nate Arterburn will step to the plate. You know, a big difference when Case Western Reserve is hitting the ball well is that they get production out of those bottom two, Carinci and Arterburn. And Arterburn, his last time up, had a base hit on a squeeze play that scored Logan Andraco, showing no signs of bunting here, and takes a called for a strike, 0-1. We'll see if the bunt's on now. With a strike on Arterburn, he gives a long look down to head coach Matt Englander in the third base coach's box. Something's going on here on the base pass, I think. Pickoff attempt, not in time. I think the Spartans have something on here, whether it's a bunt or a bunt and run. Let's see. Carinci not going, and there's the bunt attempt, but it's taken up high, and it's 1-1. Long look down from Arterburn. Englander flashing a cavalcade of signs to both Arterburn and Carinci on the base paths. Squaring a bunt, pulls it back, swing and a miss. Runner goes. The throw goes into center field. Not far enough for Carinci to advance an extra base. And Carinci takes second. That was some combination of steal, butcher boy play, bunt and run, hit and run, whatever you want to call it. I think in the end it was probably Arterburn trying to protect the runner and taking a big swing there, and he did exactly that. Forced a bad throw from Dinchman, who the Spartans have really been active on the base paths against today. That ball in the air, shallow left, going back is the shortstop, and making the catch is Hansen for the out. And there's one gone as Carinci has to retreat to the bag. So after the pop out, one gone here in the fifth for Jack Anderson, who still sits just a hit away from the program career record. Anderson, 263 career hits, currently tied with Chad Mullins for the program's all-time lead. Here's the 1-0. And there it is, Jack Anderson with his 264th career hit. The throw comes to the plate, not in time, but congratulations to Anderson, who's going to try to get to second and does safely. And let's make sure Jack's okay out there. He slid in a little awkwardly. But Jack Anderson with his 264th career hit. So congratulations to Jack Anderson, who has had a fantastic career. The Spartans will ask for the baseball. And Jack Anderson, congratulations on an outstanding career. Hit number 264 for Jack. So Anderson now stands at second after the RBI single. Carinci scored on that one. It's now 7-1 Spartans. Anderson, who moved up to second on the throw. In scoring position now for Nick Harms, who takes the first pitch down low. One-0 pitch on the way to Harms. And he sends that through the left side of the infield, and it's another hit for Harms. Anderson pulls up at third. Harms stops at first. His third hit of the game already. And the Spartans continuing to pile on the hits here. That's their 9th of the game. Third hit of the inning for the Spartans off Patel, the relief pitcher. And now Tyler Stilson to the plate to help his cause further here potentially. He's 1 for 2 in the game. A single and a walk. He's been on base twice. Patel rocks and delivers. You know, for Patel here, it's interesting. Again, this TrackMan data is incredible and how it works. And you kind of watch it come up. But you go from facing a pitcher like Zuckerman, who's throwing in the low 90s. Patel's fastball is, you know, probably about 10 miles an hour slower than what we saw from Zuckerman. He's more low 80s. That one's fouled back by Stilson. He has a little bit more movement on the pitch. So he might be throwing a two-seamer potentially out there, something that moves a little bit more. But that being said, the Spartans now go from seeing, you could go back to your days if you ever go into a batting cage and you crank up the batting cage to 90 miles an hour. Stilson sends that in the air to center field. Might be deep enough to score Anderson. Catch is made in center by Lawson. Anderson tags. Throw is cut off. He'll score on the sacrifice fly from Stilson. And it's now 8-1 Spartans. Harms stays at first. But I think, you got a guy who's out there throwing in the low 90s. You turn down that velocity with the relief pitcher, and all of a sudden, hitters may see the ball a little bit better. And so if you're Patel here, you've got to mix in some different things. You've got to, try to go maybe a little bit more break on the pitch. You've got to, again, that fastball with some movement. But a tough pitcher to pair up against if you're a reliever in Zuckerman, because anything you throw is probably going to be slower than what Zuckerman's been throwing all day. Franco Alonso 0 for 1 with an RBI ground out and 2 walks today, takes ball 1. Runner goes, the pitch swung on, grounded to third. Conley with it, comes up throwing, and Halloran puts that away at third base for the final out. But the Spartans add on 2 more. It's now 8-1 Case Western Reserve as we move along into the 6th of game 1 of 2 here today. It'll be Lou, Hansen, and Lawson due up when we come back. Tyler Stilson now working with a 7-run lead. He'll face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for Emory. Lou, Hansen, and Lawson in the 6th. First game of 4 this weekend scheduled between these two teams. It'll be a doubleheader today. Again, the doubleheader getting bumped up. Scheduled currently for a doubleheader tomorrow. I will tell you the weather does not look good for tomorrow. Considerably better for Sunday. As the first pitch on the way from Stilson to Lou in the air, center field. Anderson over, shields his eyes, and makes the catch in right center for the first out. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Stilson, who you would think this is likely his last inning, but if he could get through it quickly, he might get a shot at the 7th. Stilson, one of just 2 starting pitchers this season for the Spartans to work into the 7th inning. He did so during the team's spring break trip in South Carolina. The other pitcher, Charlie Griffith, as Stillson delivers a first pitch strike to Hansen, the shortstop. 1 for 2 on the day with a base hit and a strikeout. The 0-1. Ground ball, second base. Alonso there. Throw on to first. Right on target for the out. 2 gone. So back to the top of the order now for Emory as Jake Lawson will try to get something going here. Mention this is a big series. And, listen, UA series are always big, and they've always felt big. They're a little bigger this year because of the automatic bid now in the conference. Again, the team that wins the regular season will get the automatic bid this year into the NCAA tournament now that Chicago has rejoined the conference for baseball. The 16 minimum has been met. So that's a big addition for the UAA as the fastball there catches for a strike, 0-1. That's the 90th pitch of the game for Stillson. But, you get the feeling that the teams to kind of look out for this year are Wash U, Case Western Reserve, Emory. I think Chicago's a little bit of a mystery. NYU and Brandeis probably on the outskirts. I think Chicago might have the best pitching of any UAA teams, although, again, that remains to be decided a little bit. So that misses outside for ball 2, 2-1. Chicago last week had the best pitching week, but that came against Brandeis, and historically Brandeis' offense has not been super productive. That might be the kind way of saying that. And so I think you want to see what Chicago does going forward here against some stronger offensive competition. That ball grounded towards first. Camphausen gets it. He flips over to Stillson, but the throw goes a little wide. And that's going to be an infield single for Lawson. It's one of those that Stillson was maybe a shade slow getting over. I'm not sure even if a good throw from Camphausen, I frankly don't think they would have gotten Lawson on that one. And so it's an infield 2-out single for Lawson, and that'll bring Aiden Conley to the plate. Wash U in Chicago facing off today is Conley, who's 1 for 3 in the game. He scored the only run for Emory. Takes the first pitch up high for a ball. That was an 82-mile-an-hour fastball, so maybe Stillson coming up to the end of his day. Might have been the changeup, excuse me. Called strike, brings the count to 1-1. The other two series, Wash U is at Chicago. That game should be underway. Brandeis is at NYU. They're starting at 2 o'clock today. It looks like everyone moved to a Friday doubleheader today, with weather affecting the entire eastern half of the country, it feels like, throughout this weekend. Popped up behind home plate. Donahue gives a look, but it's out of play. Count goes to 1-2. Wash U in Chicago currently tied 1-1. First of 2 games there. Brandeis NYU currently scoreless, although I think that game has not gotten underway yet. So that explains the lack of offense at the very least. And another one popped up behind home plate by Conley, but no one will get to that. So Stillson approaching 100 pitches. No one warming up in the bullpen for the Spartans, but I have to imagine for Stillson, he's approaching the end of his day, trying to get one final out here potentially. Here's the 1-2. Swung on back to the pitcher. Stillson knocks it down, picks it up, throws to first. Camphausen is able to stay on the bag and get the out for the final out of the inning, and that will end the 6th. No runs on a hit for Emory. They leave a man stranded. We'll move to the bottom of the 6th. 8-1 the score when we come back. Dane Camphausen hit with the first pitch of the 6th inning from Patel. And the Spartans have a leadoff base runner once again. 8-1 Case Western Reserve leading here in the bottom of the 6th over Emory. And Sean Donahue will be the batter. Donahue drew a walk in his last at-bat. And that one's up high. Nope, they called a balk. So the ball called. Camphausen moves up. No pitch there, so it's still technically no pitch there. So the ball called against Patel. Runner at second now is Camphausen with nobody out, and Donahue at the plate. And he swings and grounds that through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Camphausen comes into third. Donahue with his first hit of the day, 10th hit by the Spartans. Case Western Reserve has done a good job taking that pitch today the other way. And now Logan Andraco will be the batter. Andraco is 0 for 1 in the game, but he's been on base twice, a hit by pitch and a walk. Hitting here with men on the corners and nobody out. Runner goes, the pitch is outside. Throw goes down to second, not in time. Camphausen stays at third, and it's a stolen base for Donahue. That is his 4th this season. And the Spartans have 2 in scoring position now. It is clear the Spartans have identified something in Dinchman that they are running any time they're getting on base right now against him. Pitch misses for ball 2, 2-0. That is the 6th stolen base of the game, actually the 7th stolen base of the game now for the Spartans, with nobody out here in the 6th. That one misses outside, 3-0. First base is open here, but you're not pitching around, guys, with a 7-run deficit if you're Emory here. We'll see if Patel can settle back in here. We'll see if Andraco gets the green light here, 3-0. Well, he won't know theirs. That one misses well outside. And so the base is loaded now for Zach Carinci, who has really looked good at the plate. He's now up to 280 on the season. And again, if Zach Carinci can really get his bat going, it doesn't have to be a power bat. He just needs to keep the line moving, and that's what he's been doing the last 2 weeks. He has 2 hits on 3 trips to the plate so far today, both singles. As that one, a called strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1-1. That one fouled off down the right field side. So the count now 1-2 on Carinci. A chance to do some damage here. With the bases loaded and nobody out, the Spartans can blow this game open. A reminder that the games this weekend are played using the run rule. So if a team is leading by 10 runs after 7 innings, or 6.5 with the home team up, the game does come to an early end. And Carinci hits that in the air, deep towards left field, going back towards the wall, now in left field, and unable to find it as he lost it in the sun is the left fielder, Wasserloff. Everyone was holding there. That'll go as a base hit for Carinci and an RBI on a ball that should have been caught, but when you lose it in the sun like that, that's not an error. That's just a base hit, and so the line continues to move for the Spartans. First 4 runners this inning have reached, and it's now 9-1 Case Western Reserve. And with 2 more runs here in the inning and 3 outs in the 7th, the Spartans might be able to put this one to bed early potentially. Some work to do still with Arterburn at the plate, who already has an RBI on a squeeze play earlier in the game. One and 0 the count. Up and in, 2 and 0. And that misses inside, 3 and 0. You're sort of at that point, if you're Bobby Perez and Emory right now, it's trying to figure out what you want to do with your pitching here. Do you go to the bullpen and risk using up another arm, or do you try to keep Patel in here, who's clearly struggling? Is that pitch taken for a strike, 3 and 1? Again, you have to kind of approach these weekends. Certainly you want to win every game, but when you're down big like this, a little bit of a different tack to try to save pitching. 3-1 wasted by Arterburn, and the count goes to 3 and 2. Like he got that fastball on that lower outside corner. Another 3-2 offering on the way. And that one swung on, grounded to second, takes a hard hop, flipped to second for one, back to first, and it is in time for the out. So the run comes across. No RBI for Arterburn on the double play. 4-6-3 it's turned by the Emory infield. That'll make it a 10-1 lead for the Spartans. And now Jack Anderson, the new Spartan hit king, will step to the plate. Anderson with the base hit and an RBI back in the 5th, his 264th career hit, passing Chad Mullins for first all-time in the Spartans record book. Chance for Anderson to give the Spartans a 10-run lead. Fouls that one back when chasing a fastball up and out. Evens the count at 1 and 1. And again, you talk about conserving pitching and trying to get that one more run across here. That one extra run could save you some pitching down the road if you're the Spartans. Breaking ball, called a strike on the inside corner, and it's now 1 and 2. Ayush Shetty looks to be warming in the Spartans bullpen. The Atlanta product, a chance to go up against his hometown team. That one's fouled back. Count stays at 1 and 2 on Anderson. And it's a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Anderson didn't like that call, but he'll go down looking, and that'll end the inning. The Spartans add on 2 more runs. It's 10-1 Case Western Reserve. We'll go to the 7th. Emory coming to bat when we return. Well, the Spartans have taken control of this one. It's 10-1 as we move to the 7th. Tyler Stilson does come back out for another inning of work. Three, 4, and 5, heart of the order for Emory as the Eagles try to get on the board. Or I should say get back on the board. They scored 1 run in the 5th, their only run of the game. Called strike from Stilson, who's now at 100 pitches for the game. Is 0-1. Ground ball third base side, takes an awkward hop just above Jack Carinzi's glove and down the left field line. That'll be at least one for Sicoli, who heads for second. The tag not in time. And Sicoli with a leadoff double. So nobody out and a runner in scoring position for the Eagles, who have certainly had their chances to add on runs here at times today, but for the most part, Stilson has done a really good job working around whatever traffic he's allowed so far in the game. Batter at the plate now is Jack Halloran. 0 for 1 with 2 flyouts. Big jump at second and stealing the base easily is Sicoli. As the pitch called a strike against Halloran, 0-1. Sicoli just took a big walking lead off second and then never stopped. Once he saw Stilson was committed to delivering it, he just took off for third. First stolen base of the game for Emory. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So Stilson ahead in the count. So Stilson for the second time this season, pitching into the 7th inning. Here's the 0-2. Fastball up high. Really, Tyler not losing much on that fastball. He was at 86 with that one. I do think he might have reeled back and thrown it a little bit harder than he's been throwing it lately. You know, where before when we saw him empty the tank, he was getting it a little bit further up to closer to 89. That one's down and away. 75 on the changeup. Two-two pitch on the way. Ground ball, third base side, foul by Halloran. Nobody out and a runner at third base. That's Sicoli, who doubled to start the inning, took third on a stolen base. Here's the pitch. Popped up, foul. Halloran wasting some pitches here. Another 2-2 from Stilson, his 108th pitch of the game. Fastball is short, should get the run in. Arterburn with it, he'll get the shore out at first. And Halloran out, it's an RBI ground out though, and that makes it a 10-2 lead for the Spartans as Sicoli scores. So that'll bring Blake Dinchman to the plate. Dinchman hitting a .409 on the season. Dinchman 1 for 3 in the game, 2 strikeouts, a single in his last at bat. Breaking ball, missed outside, and it's 1-0. Base is empty here, so a chance for Stilson to reset. Called strike. If I'm not mistaken, this is the third time that Emory has come down in sight play to Cleveland. Come up, I should say. That ball in the air. Center field, Anderson has it lined up, battling the sun, puts it away. And there's two gone as Dinchman is retired, bringing Wasserluff to the plate. This is the third time, and I believe that Emory in the previous two trips up to Cleveland had won the first game of the series each time. And it looks like that's going to be it for Stilson. So Stilson's day is done at 111 pitches. Ayush Shetty, the new pitcher for the Spartans. We'll tell you more about him when we come back. 10-2, Spartans leading with 2 outs in the 7th. Welcome back again. It's Case Western Reserve with a 10-2 lead, 2 outs, 7th inning. Spartans have never trailed in this game. They were up 6-0 after 4. Emory scored a run in the 5th. The Spartans added 2 in the bottom of the 5th, 2 as well in the 6th. Led 10-1 before Emory got a run earlier this inning. Bases are empty right now. With 2 away. The new pitcher on the mound for the Spartans is Ayush Shetty. Shetty, the first-year pitcher, making his 6th appearance of the season, 5 of which have been out of the bullpen. No record in a 5.40 ERA for Shetty, who through 10 innings this season has allowed 7 hits, 8 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Shetty, when he's not walking batters, is tough. That's been, like many of the Spartan pitchers this year, the big question. But when these guys are around the strike zone, they've been good. Shetty holding opponents again to that 206 average. And again, a chance here for Shetty to face his hometown team. He's a first-year pitcher out of Alpharetta, Georgia, up in the northern suburbs of Atlanta, right up Georgia 400 there from where Emory is located. So I'm sure an exciting moment for him as he faces Zach Wasserloff. I asked Shetty after the Marietta game, I asked him if he was a Braves fan growing up. I asked him if he was a Craig Kimbrell fan, as he gets a swing and a miss there, because when you look at him as he reads the sign from the catcher, watch that position he gets in, and then go look up some video of Craig Kimbrell, because that's how Craig Kimbrell looks when he's getting that pitch from the catcher. That one fouled off. I'm looking over at Eddie Karakis in the booth here for confirmation. He agrees. That's a pretty unique stance, yeah. The old condor, I would call that. Get the arms out a little bit. So I asked Ayush on the bus, I said, so are you a Craig Kimbrell fan? Is that where the delivery came from? And Ayush kind of looks at me and goes, not really. So I don't know if that was modeled after Kimbrell or if he just kind of wandered into that, but either way, I'm sure many of the Emory fans watching, is that ball hit in the air, left field, coming in his own. Draco dives, and he makes the catch for the out. And that'll end the inning. So a hard hit line drive to left, and Draco up to the task, and we will move to the bottom of the 7th. The Spartans will have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up. Harms, Stilson, and Alonzo due up in the bottom of the 7th. So we'll stretch it out here at Nobby's Ballpark. 10-2, Spartans leading when we come back. New pitcher on the mound for the Spartans will be number 19, Reed Edwards, the lefty. Edwards, a first-year player out of Norcross, Georgia, Marist High School, 6'1", 180 pounds. Will get the opportunity here to pitch against Case Western Reserve. Edwards on the year making his 5th appearance. He has no record in an 11.12 ERA. Through 5 2/3 innings, he has allowed 6 hits, issued 3 walks, opponents hitting .273 against him. And not an easy task here, facing Nick Harms to start the inning. That one fouled off, 1-1. WashU and Chicago still even at a run apiece, as that game moves into the bottom of the 5th. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th right now in Chicago. Again, Chicago, a team to watch out for here. I think it will be interesting to see if their pitching continues to hold up, as it did in the first series against Brandeis, again, where they looked to be some of the better pitching in the conference through the first weekend. 2-1 the offering now. Edwards pitching to Harms, and Harms takes that down and in for a ball, 3-1. Got to be careful here if you're Edwards. Harms sends that foul. So the count full, 3-2 on Harms. Nick 3 for 3 in the game with a walk. He's driven in 2, scored 2 runs. Spartans, 11 hits in the game, just 1 for extra bases. And Harms sends that one foul. Three-two on the way from Edwards to Harms. And he sends another one foul. So a nice way to start the inning for Harms, who is about to see his 8th pitch of the at-bat from Edwards. Always good when you can make the relief pitcher show you his stuff in that first at-bat. Give everyone on the bench a nice long look at the reliever. 3-2 on the way. And Harms in the air, shallow left, could be trouble, and it will drop in fair territory. And Nick Harms will stop at first, and I wonder on that if, you know, it's hard to fault Nick Harms for anything right now. He's playing so well, but I wonder if he was running all out to get to first on that one, or if he got caught watching a little bit. I'm surprised with his speed, he's not on second. So runner on now for Tyler Stilson, who is certainly capable of ending this game with 1 swing. Again, with the 10-run rule in place, Stilson with a home run here could give the Spartans an early end. Takes the first pitch down low from Edwards, and it's 1-0. Now the 1-0 offering. And that one, hardliner, taking on a hop at short for 1, on to first. And that'll be a double play. 6-4-3, second double play turned by Emory today. And there's 2 outs now with the bases empty. And the batter will be Franco Alonso. Alonso 0 for 2 in the day, but he's had a pretty productive day at the plate. An RBI ground out, 2 walks. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. And so Edwards a chance for a quick 7th inning despite allowing the leadoff single. And Alonso sends that down the line. Fair ball into the right field corner. Alonso digs for second. Good throw from Sicoli, who digs that out. But Alonso with the double, and that'll bring Dane Camphausen to the plate here. Again, another player who's capable of ending things with one swing. Camphausen hitting at 364, a double earlier in the day, was hit by a pitch and scored a run his last time up. And he swings and misses at the breaking ball, 0-1. It's always a good sign with Dane when he's hitting with power to the right center field gap, and that's why that double earlier in this game is a really good sign for Dane. That's his power field. Takes a big cut at that breaking ball and misses, and it's 0-2, and you got to believe if you're Edwards here that you've got to just keep working that outside breaking pitch until Camphausen shows he can hit it. I leave this one well off the plate. There you go. Swing and a miss, strike three. And that will bring us into the eighth. So the Spartans with 2 hits in the inning, but no runs to show for it. We'll move to the eighth. 10-2, Case Western Reserve leading. Bottom of the order for Emory, Smallwood, Liu, and Hanson when we come back. Bottom of the order for Emory to face IU Shetty here in the eighth. Smallwood, Liu, and Hanson, 10-2. Spartans leading. Game 1 of 2 today. Game 1 of 4 this weekend scheduled. Swing and a miss by Smallwood brings the count to 0-1. Again, you know, the weather not looking great for tomorrow, where we currently have a doubleheader scheduled. But Sunday looking a little better than it did earlier in the week, and maybe there's a little bit more confidence that between maybe later in the day tomorrow. Again, we're still scheduled, important to note that, still scheduled to play a doubleheader tomorrow. That has not changed as of yet. But there's maybe a chance, although I wouldn't put money on it, to get a game in tomorrow and one on Sunday. I think the more likely opportunity is that you're looking at trying to play 2 on Sunday. So 1-2 count on Smallwood. The pitch from Shetty. Chopper, first base side. Camphausen knocks it down. It rolls right to the bag where he steps on the base for the out. And a 3 unassisted there for Camphausen for the first out of the inning. One away now for Brock Liu, the second baseman. Liu 0 for 3 with a strikeout today. First pitch. Ground ball. Nice grab by Shetty, who will make the underhand throw to first for the out. Shetty, good job getting to that one. I'm not sure it would have been a hit if it got past Shetty, but he didn't take a chance on it. Got the glove on it. A nice job there. And so that'll bring up Zach Hanson. Hansen 1 for 3, a strikeout swinging, a single, and a ground out to second. First pitch outside, ball 1. Just off that outside corner, it's 2-0. 79 on the breaking pitch there from Shetty. Came with a fastball that time at 85, caught the inside corner, and it's 2-1. You know, one of the fun parts about this conference, the UAA, is that you get to play schools from very different areas. You get to visit cities that you might not go to otherwise if you were playing college baseball at a different school. But, you know, not only that, but you get these interesting matchups. And I think about Nick Harms from St. Louis playing in a school in Cleveland facing Wash U. Or Ayush Shetty, who's from Georgia and from a suburb of Atlanta, facing Emory, which is an Atlanta school. High there, full count 3-2, and so you get these moments where players get to face their hometown teams occasionally. Another one fouled away. Count stays at 3-2 on the 9-hitter Hansen, who's trying to avoid a 1-2-3 inning. He's done a good job to make Shetty work here after you should thrown just 5 pitches to get the first 2 outs of the inning. 3-2 on the way from Shetty. And that's in the air, right field, deep but playable. Nick Harms there, puts it away. And it is indeed a 1-2-3 inning for Shetty and the Spartans. And we'll move to the bottom of the 8th. Due up for Case Western Reserve is Donahue and Draco and Carinci in the 8th when we come back. Bottom of the order for the Spartans. It's been a productive bottom of the order. Donahue and Draco and Carinci, that's 6, 7, 8 in the order. Arterburn to follow if someone reaches this inning. As Donahue fouls off the first pitch from Edwards, 0-1. Edwards beginning his second inning of work. And Donahue wastes another one. Great to see Donahue making the most of his chances. Again, a player that the Spartans have liked since he arrived on campus. Remember his freshman year had a huge 3-run double to help the Spartans win a game against John Carroll. But, you know, when you got Jack Anderson, who is an All-American catcher in front of you, and he sticks around a couple extra years, you add on James Powers last year, who became the team's backup catcher. But I will tell you, I heard Matt Englander say any number of times, we got to find a way to get Sean Donahue some time back there. And, you know, he get his opportunities here and there. This year, there was more of a commitment, I think. And Donahue has really been productive in his time out there. And the other advantage of that is it just gives Jack an opportunity to get a little bit of a break. And you can play him in center field. It's a little bit less laborious than catching. You don't have to catch Jack both games of a doubleheader. Two up high. Count goes full, 3-2 on Donahue. The Spartans had 2 hits last inning off of Reed Edwards for Emory, the lefty. But a double play erased the first runner, and that one fouled away. And then a 2-out double by Alonso, but he was left stranded at second base. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And a called strike 3. Well, looked maybe a bit up and out, but taken by Donahue, and that will be the first out of the inning. So I'll bring Logan Andraco to the plate with 1 away, and the base is empty. And Draco has had himself a nice game. Not much to show for it in the stats. He's 0 for 1, but has drawn 2 walks, scored a run. He's been effective out there. It's one of those games that it feels like he's got a couple hits, even though he doesn't. But again, hitting out of the 7th spot in the order, and Draco, I think, has really helped to solidify that bottom part of the order. And you go back even to South Carolina, when for the most part Case Western Reserve was swinging the bats well, that bottom of the order was a little bit of an issue for this team. And it's a much different story now. 2-1 the count. But, you know, when Currency was struggling at the plate early on in the season, Arterburn was struggling. That ball hit up in the air, center field, playable for Lawson, who puts it away. 2 gone. Now all of a sudden you move Logan Andraco down the lineup. That gives you a little bit more of an experienced bat down there. Zach Currency's hitting. You know, Arterburn's been hitting better. You go from getting what felt at the time, and it was 2 easier outs with Currency and Arterburn there, and since they flipped it on, this has been a much, much more full lineup. Called strike to start off Currency, who has a couple more hits today. He's 3 for 4 in this one with an RBI and 2 runs scored, make it 4 for 5. Boy, is it good to see Zach hitting the ball well right now. Really, ever since Currency hit the walk-off home run against Johnson and Wales, that's sort of been a turning point for his season. He's just looked much sharper since then. And so now Nate Arterburn will be the batter. Taken up high. You know, for Zach, it's an interesting season for him because he's of that group. And when I say that group, you know, that class, it was a very tight class that he was a part of. But, you know, Zach, who is of that group, probably one of the more heralded bunch. And again, he was a guy who did it on the mound for them early on, who was one of the primary hitters of this team early in his career, and again, battled some injuries. His two of his closer friends on the team moved on, as that one's fouled away. Tyler Horvath now pitching for Michigan State in his graduate student year. Reese Marley pitching for Illinois in his graduate student year. Zach Currency decided to stick around and, you know, I think spent the early part of this season trying to figure out what his role is with the Spartans. And, well, he certainly found his role. He's back to being the team's everyday third baseman. There's Nate Arterburn, and once again, the bottom of the order for the Spartans producing. 2 more hits, and now Jack Anderson comes to the plate. And potentially a situation here where an extra base hit could end this game a little bit early. Anderson steps up 1 for 5 in the game with a base hit. The base hit was the 264th of his career, setting a new Spartan career record. He takes the first pitch curve. That's a called strike, 0-1. That's a good curveball there. A back foot curve from Edwards on the mound. The 0-1. Another sharp curve there. Misses outside for a ball. Here's the 1-1. And Anderson wastes away the 1-1. It's now 1-2. Last weekend, Jack had a great first day. Again, the Spartans played 2 doubleheaders against WashU. He was great the first day, struggled a little bit the second day. Here's the 1-2. Up high, 2-2. At the very least, Jack just trying to keep the inning going with Nick Harms, who is as hot as anybody out on deck. Harms 4 for 4 in this game. And the Spartans now 15 hits, just 2 for extra bases, doubles for Camphausen and Alonso, the only 2 extra base hits. But the Spartans have ran the bases well. They've stolen 7 bases today. They've, again, collected 15 total hits. They've drawn 7 walks. So, a lot good today for Case Western Reserve as the 2-2 on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Breaking ball off that outside corner. Anderson went chasing, and that will end the 8th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base for the Spartans in the 8th. We'll move to the 9th. Last chance for Emory, trailing by 8, 10-2 the score. Top of the order for the Eagles. Lawson, Conley, and Sicoli due up when we return. New batter for Emory will be number 25, Jonathan Lang, the outfielder, hitting here for Lawson. That ball grounded towards second. Long run over for Alonso, who throws on to first. And Lang is retired by Shetty, who begins his second full inning of work as he tries to close this one out. Shetty has retired each of the batters he's faced so far. He's now faced 5 batters retired each. This will be Aiden Conley to the plate. Sorry, pinch hitter here. Number 16, Cam Newell. Thank you, Eddie. After I said Aiden Conley, I got a very disapproving no it's not from Eddie across the press box here. The official Spartan baseball ombudsman for keeping me in line. I need all the help I could get. 0-1 on the way. Down and out for a ball to Newell. Newell looking for his first hit of the season. Newell, a junior from Lincoln, Nebraska. Lincoln Southwest. Hits that in the air, center field. Tracking it is Anderson, and he puts it away, 2 gone. So 2 retired, and Shetty can put an end to this game quickly with 1 more out. Batter at the plate now is Matthew Sicoli. And we'll get another pinch hitter here. Actually, so Sicoli's day is done. This is McGinley coming to the plate. Micah McGinley-Smith, who takes a called for a strike, 0-1. Left-handed hitter facing Shetty. Outside corner, 0-2, and the Spartans a strike away. Here's the 0-2 from Shetty with 2 outs in the 9th. Up high, 1-2. One-two pitch. Ground ball first base side. Camphausen bobbles, grabs it with his bare hand, steps on the bag, and that'll do it. The Spartans strike first in the 4-game series with Emory, winning Game 1 by a final score of 10-2. 4 hits apiece for Nick Harms and Zach Carinci. Great pitching from Tyler Stilson and Ayush Shetty. And the Spartans will pick up the early win here and look to complete a doubleheader sweep later in the day. As about half an hour from now, Game 2 will begin between these 2 teams. Emory dropping to 17-8 on the year with the loss. Case Western Reserve improving to 15-8 with the win. In UAA play, Emory now 3-2. The Spartans 4-1. Winning pitcher today is Tyler Stilson, 2-0 on the campaign. No save in this one. Losing pitcher is Josh Zuckerman. He drops to 3-2. Game lasted 2 hours and 57 minutes. Attendance here was 346 at the ballpark. Want to thank everyone once again for joining us today. Reminder, Game 2 coming up in a little bit. You'll need to refresh your browser closer to game time for that to load for you. Again, final score, 10-2, Spartans with the win. We'll be back in a little bit. Thanks for tuning in. I'm John Schwartz, and I'll catch you in a couple minutes. Have a great rest of your day and a great next half hour until we see you in a little bit later. Take care, everyone.